listen to me, you whining little whelp.
From the Gettysburg Tour Studio.
Hi, this is Bo Brinkman.
All the DJs say this one's on its way. Number one.
You think I have something to do with science?
Shut up!
You're listening to From Studio 1A.
The popular podcast addressing Gettysburg.
Cool.
Yes, sir. Grabbed and pulled and hurt my neck.
Addressing Gettysburg today.
There's no time. Hello, exactly.
Good evening, Ronnie. Welcome back.
Thank you, Matt.
Oh, thank you. Thank everyone. Why is my volume not working? What is happening? Do you hear that? Because I'm using the wrong one. That's why.
There you are.
Oh, God. I'm still not used to this board. You know, when we did the show at the Farnsworth house, as you might recall, we have a new recorder because the old one's on the fritz, so I got a new one, and the other one's being repaired, et cetera, et cetera. It's a different board, though.
Yeah.
And I'm still not used to it where I can do it in a flash, where I can go.
It looks a little more compact. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I don't like it.
No.
The only reason I got it was because it has more inputs for microphones, but I don't like the way it operates. So when we get the old one back, I'm going to try to daisy chain them together so I can still get a lot more microphones if I need to. But I don't have to use this as my main one. I'll have this one go into the other one. You don't need to know that, but you know, it's
all fascinating nonetheless.
It is very fascinating nonetheless. You're absolutely right. Hey, we're in our new studio. Congratulations to us all.
Congratulations.
With a special thank you to Colby Sumner from America. Well, Colby and Tommy, his partner, from America Fog of War. This is the studio they got, and Colby was like, "Matt, you're my hero. You're my idol. I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you, and I want you to come in and share the space with me." And so I said, I thought about it for a while, you know, and we did. Finally, he convinced me. He's like, "Look, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Sit in a shed the rest of your life like a loser?" And I said, "Well, that's a good point, Colby." And I said, "No, I don't want to be a loser. We're going to come in here." So that's what we did, and here we are. It's not totally ready yet for prime time, but it's much better than it was Monday. I'll tell you that. So
nice.
Yeah, we'll
most of that got fixed this morning.
Yeah,
we were in here working hard.
Well, it's like you know, when I was in college and high school and everything, I had a paper or something to do. Night before was the best time to do it, and I always got A's and B's. So, like, you know,
why fix something that's not broke?
Well, you know what it is? It's the whole planning thing. You know, like, this is, of all the shows we do, this is my favorite one to do because I have very little planning to do, and it just.
I thought it was because I was involved, but
wait,
okay.
Hold on, there's a list of things, and one of them is you.
No, you blew it. I was supposed to be top.
No, but it's like I have very little prep work to do, and even when I do, I cram it all in on Friday. You know, yeah. I'll make notes during the week. Oh, we got to bring this up. We got to bring that up, and then I'll put agenda together on Friday, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Because I was always best last minute under pressure, and I learned that in school by doing my homework at the very last minute. My parents hated it, but whatever. You got to do what you got to do. But anyway, here we are. So thank you, Colby. Thank you, Tommy, for letting us come in here. You guys are awesome for that. And what else is there to tell everybody? Well, what did you do on our break?
So in my real life, the real job had me running like crazy. We were really busy the last several weeks here with new cases and new kids and new problems and yada yada. So when I did have some downtime on Friday evenings, I found myself at the casino playing some poker. That's what.
Oh,
I
did you win?
doing. I did. Yeah.
How much?
I'm not gonna say.
Because the IRS might be listening.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly it. No,
I
but
understand.
it was good. I'm always weird about talking about how much money I carry, like when I go to the casino, when I leave the casino, that kind of stuff. I don't know.
And now that you're a celebrity,
right?
People might stalk you and follow you there and rob you on the outside of the casino. That would not be good.
Yeah.
Well, let's.
It's low limits, Texas no limit hold'em, so it wasn't like thousands of dollars. Nobody get like excited, but it was.
You didn't win
it was,
the jackpot, like millions of dollars.
No. There's no. It's just
She
playing
came out
against,
riding the gravy train, is what happened.
What is your when did you get into gambling? Like, how did you? I don't see you as a gambler, but you gamble.
Poker's so arguably poker is obviously a game of chance still. However, there's a big element of skill to it compared to like blackjack or roulette or whatever, where you're playing against the house, right?
Right.
In the poker game, you're playing against other players. So long story short, I used to just go play blackjack just for shits and giggles with some friends on the weekend or happy hour or whatever. After my husband passed away, a good friend of mine actually was a dealer at the Rivers Casino back home in Pittsburgh, and she dealt poker, which I had never really been exposed to. But right around that time, people were trying their best to get me out of a funk, which I really appreciate. And she was one of the ones that was like, well, we have this little home game and you should just come and drink some beer and eat some Doritos and just, we'll teach you the game kind of thing. And then at some point I felt comfortable enough to go to the real casino, and ever since then I've just been trying to learn the game a little bit more, and I enjoy it. It's a challenge, right? I'm competitive in general, so I like to win.
Yeah.
don't really like to lose, but there's
Who does?
even if you get your money in good with 4 of the cards showing, the 5th card could change everything. So there is a little bit of luck to that.
Sure.
There are percentages if you know.
Let's see your poker face. Right into the camera, please.
No, that's it.
You don't have a poker face.
No, I don't believe. I mean, I just don't say anything. Like if there's a bet on the table, I don't do or say anything. I just hold my cards and stare at the table. That's it.
Because if you looked at anybody, that would give away what you have, right?
I don't
You're
know.
afraid of.
I don't know. At these low limits, I don't think. I mean, people are pretty. It's a social game.
It's
at
fun,
these low
right?
limits.
Like everybody
Yeah,
has
like,
fun.
Yeah,
You're not
people-
like Doc Holliday playing Pharaoh and you get into a knife fight or something.
Right,
Like
no.
it's I understand. It's a different game. Excuse me. And Eric, the producer's over there in the guest area there. Why can't I hear you?
Muted. Still muted.
No, you're on.
New studio. Still fucking muted.
You're on.
Am I?
Yeah.
Well, I am now.
Yeah.
I wasn't when I first
I think
started
probably Owen didn't plug it in hard enough on the
well.
back. It's usually Owen's fault. Yeah.
It's fine. I'm going to blame it on
Yeah, I don't know why you're so low, but okay. So go ahead, keep talking, Eric. Tell us what you did during the winter.
I made leather stuff.
You made leather stuff, and everybody loves the leather stuff. It's very popular nowadays. Tell us about it. How can people? It's Von Dedham & Co. is the name of the company.
It is.
And how can people get a hold of you to get some of your fine leather work?
Well, you can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, or you can send me an email at vondedhamandco@gmail.com.
And you can also, if you wanted to contact me, if you forget all of that stuff, I don't know why you would, because you could just rewind.
Yeah, you can just pause it.
Yeah,
like,
pause it, go
again.
back 15 seconds and get it. But whatever. Eric, the producer, does wonderful stuff, and you're doing pretty well with it, Eric. Right?
Fair to middling.
I mean, you're pretty busy with it.
Yeah, more or less.
He's already brought in $2 million worth of sales.
Oh, yeah.
In sales.
I thought that was a low estimate, but okay.
Well, that
2
is
million's
my
a
low
good
estimate.
start. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
you know.
hasn't done the numbers yet. And it's it's really nicely done. In fact, he was working on some of it before. Do you have any nearby that you could show the audience?
No, it's over there in the corner and on top
Okay,
of
all right.
things.
And there's a ton of people in the peanut gallery today. Owen almost fell over trying to get it. But there it goes. He's got it there. Eric, show everybody. Come on now. Come on. Show the people.
It's a bag.
Look at that. It's a bag.
Look at her.
Hold it up again for us one more time, Eric.
Oh, one more time.
Look at that beautiful thing.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Where is your camera?
His camera is right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was.
We're not. I'm not sure yet. Like we're working things out. This is kind of a test show for those of you at home. Like, don't get used to all this necessarily. And then behind Eric is something that we're very excited. I'm very excited about. It's very nerdy. The poll came in today. The staff, whatever you want to call it, came in today. And the flag came in, I think, on Thursday or Wednesday. No, it was Wednesday. It doesn't matter. This was done by a fellow named Josh. He goes by Sergeant Buck on Instagram. Look at that. Look at that. Thank you, Vanna. And he he contacted me one day, And he says, I do this for a living at Colonial Williamsburg. I make the historic flags, or I repair them and whatever.
Cool.
And I want to make you a flag. And originally I had said, I've always wanted to have our own flag. I wanted to base it on Custer's guidon because I always liked that.
Lame.
Yeah, and that's what he said. And he goes, well, I was thinking like a Union like battle flag, like 6 by 6.5 feet. And I was like, okay, even better. And he goes, you know what? I'll do both. So he actually did 3 for us, 2 guidons, 1 Custer, 1 typical, your standard like company flag.
Wow.
And then this beautiful thing here. And we will be christening it on our April 9th Get Out of the Car tour. Colin Seyerveld, who is, of course, from Colin Southfield and the Mushroom Country Band. They do the opener of the show. He has graciously volunteered to be the first person to carry it during the tour. Because, frankly, I think you have to be a pretty big guy to carry that for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know about little kids that would be able to do that, but
What's the
we'll try.
significance of the layout with the stars? I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay, well, he told me that that was one of the patterns that several units would use. It's not like, Eric, do you know more about this?
There are various different types of layout of the canton in national colors, really up until, close to the Spanish-American War. There's not like a hard and fast...
I'm trying to count the
Like,
number
this
of
is
stars.
absolutely
Like
the way it's
I,
supposed to be.
Well,
I
you
can't
can.
count- I
It's
can't
an
see them
optical
all.
illusion.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I was gonna
designed
say,
so that you
I see
cannot do it.
27, but
No
that's
one will
not
ever
right.
know how many
Oh,
stars
okay.
there are there.
I see the design a little bit more.
Behold, there was some hiding in the flag.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? That is really neat. That is very generous. And just donated them.
Yeah.
You have some pretty cool fans, man. You're a fairly lucky individual.
I really am, and I got to tell you, there's 2 things that happened, 3 things that happened in the last month. So my winter, I spent inside depressed.
How was your winter?
It was effing miserable. Thank you. It really was. I spent the whole winter inside depressed. My heart was acting weird. I was worried I was going to die. Thank you. And I had, we'd done tests, and they're like, well, yeah, your heart is acting weird, but why? So more tests. And they're like, your heart's perfectly healthy. And I'm like, well, then why is it doing all this crazy stuff? Probably stress and depression and anxiety related, because that's the only thing I could think of. But... it's amazing when the weather starts to change, even if it gets into the 50s and it's sunny a little longer, and then we change the clocks. And all of a sudden, I feel like a normal human being again. But during the winter, I had actually thought about quitting all this. And I said, how further can I take it? What else can I do? This is about the time people start getting sick of you, and, they'll stop listening, and, and you're getting sick of you. So how could they not be getting sick? All this stuff. And I realized, of course, that was completely delusional. Everybody loves me. Thank you. No, of course. That's the joke right there, that everybody loves me. But Josh was the first thing. He said, I want to do this for you. And I go, well, I at least got to make it till April so we can fly it on one tour, so that he wouldn't feel bad. And then just a couple of days ago, I bumped into Scott Hartwig at the Gettysburg Baking Company. Yeah. And we were talking, and I had a couple of laughs, and I said, whenever you want to come on again, talk about whatever. He's like, yeah, I'll come and talk about whatever you want. I was like, okay, good. I like Scott. I like when he comes on. And then just yesterday, Wayne Motz called me about something unrelated, sort of related. But then I took the opportunity to say, Wayne, I think we should get together and meet, because I think that we're both interested in promoting Gettysburg, and there's a way that we can help each other, or maybe I can help you guys if you want to do your own podcast, whatever. Well, let's sit and talk. Sure. And he goes, that's great. And then I'd like to come on your show to talk about what we do. And I said, that's perfect. But I'd also like to have you on to talk history. So let's get you on Addressing Gettysburg today. First, talk about the foundation, et cetera, et cetera. And then the reason he called was as he said, as like a courtesy. Because they have some lecturer coming. I can't remember if it's tonight or tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
It's one of my events. Don't do it.
Okay, no, I'm not. I don't remember the name. I don't remember anything about it. It was.
I'm kidding.
I didn't know anything about it ahead of time. So he said, we're doing this, and I'd like to record it alone and put it on our YouTube. And I said, yeah, I didn't even know you had anything going on, and I wouldn't have done that anyway because it's not the Park Service. The Park Service, it's public domain.
Technically, it's in conjunction with it's being advertised as the National Park Service the foundation in conjunction with the National Park Service.
Right. So
maybe
they're
that's where, okay.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he said to the Park Service, I want the foundation. Because they're putting up the dough or whatever it is.
Sure.
And that's fine. And I said that's great. And I said to him honestly, I was like, I didn't even know I was on your radar. Like, so thank you for calling and let us know. And that was the last thing that made me say, you know what? I just needed a break. Like I needed a mental break. And I literally did nothing productive all winter long. Not that I didn't want to. I just could not force myself to do anything but play Company of Heroes 2 and do that Delta 8 stuff.
You're selling yourself a little short.
What did I do?
Well, there was the interview with Ted Hurt that I personally know
That
you
was
did.
early on.
Well, that wasn't too long. I mean, when
that
you're
was
saying
before
the winter, like that was this year, I think.
No, it was probably like early January, I think.
So I mean, I'm not like I understand you took some time off and much deserved and well needed, etc. But don't
I had
sell
no
yourself
choice.
short and say like you didn't do anything. You did all the studio movies.
Let me put it to you like this: when fall was coming, the goal was write episode 3 for the narrative. I think I added 2 sentences to it all winter long, and record a ton of episodes so that I don't have to be playing catch up all throughout the season.
Okay.
3.
You didn't do anything.
Recorded 3. We did nothing. Yeah. So I let myself down a lot, but I needed to do it. I realized, like, you know what? It wasn't me deciding it. It was my brain saying, nope, you're not doing a damn thing. And by the grace of God, I was able to do it without putting myself into any kind of hardship, So that was good.
Cool.
Now, let's talk about something fun before we move on to our break and then our guest. Our guest today is going to be Ross Hetrick, by the way. You've heard him on the show before. He's on to talk about what's coming up on April 2nd, or all through that weekend, right? First, second, third. Well, we'll get to that in a bit. But right now, what did you think of people losing their shit over Devil's Den?
Yeah.
And then what did you think of the Park Service losing its shit over Devil's Den on social media?
So can I do this little disclaimer? I was aware
Please
of the
do.
last minute.
Somebody needs to.
Like the last minute announcement, arguably kind of shocked everybody, including the licensed battlefield guides, from what I understand about the rehabilitation project at Devil's Den.
And including people who work in the Park Service. Like nobody knew about this.
Right. So I don't know how bureaucracy works in terms of getting the financing and all this other stuff, but it couldn't have just like magically been like, oh, tomorrow let's just do this. So that was a little weird, but whatever.
From what I understand, and this is from someone who works there, what I understand is it was a surprise to even them because the contractor just, like, I guess it was, for whatever reason, they were waiting on a date or something from the contractor, and then the contractor checked and finally said, hey, this is when we can do it. And then it was like, okay, that's it. We got to do it. So I think that's why it was so last minute and so abrupt to everybody, because the contractor, for whatever reason, didn't let them know, in time.
Right, but so we've known about the Little Round Top project for months. The public was notified because it was even possible that it would happen maybe last year. Now it's like the spring, and it's been the spring for quite some time. I'm not saying that's a last minute thing.
Now it's later in the spring.
Right,
May.
May to June, like that time frame is their most recent announcement. But my point is, if the contractor was just waiting for time, like the contractor is being paid money to do this rehabilitation, right? This wasn't just something that fell out of the air, and they're like, oh, what can we do today? Let's sit around. Oh, let's do Devil's Den, right? Like, there had to have been some planning.
It had to be part of the plan.
What was the secret? I don't understand. Even just if you say, we don't know the exact date yet.
I don't know that the
folks,
contract was awarded.
Well,
I don't know that it's been awarded yet.
What do you mean? To the work that they're doing now?
No, for Little Round Top.
Oh, for Little Round Top.
No,
I think it's...
I don't know.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, we all knew that Devil's Den is going to happen, right? They made an announcement for months, if not a year, right? It's
Devil's
been out
Den?
there. No, Little Round Top.
Oh, yeah.
But the Devil's Den thing, that's what I'm saying. How could it have just miraculously been one day, hey, next week we're going to shut this down?
It was.
Right, that's why I think everybody was upset about it.
I reached out to some folks at NPS looking for, like, the plan. Like, where is it in writing? What's happening here? It's not published online.
Right.
I don't really know where to find a copy of it.
Well, there must be-
The best I could come up with was an environmental impact study that was done in 2017, which is 93 pages long, and I have not read through all of it yet. But oh no, I'm reading it all.
Yeah, you should.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Devil's Den is part of that.
It's
Like
part of the.
the proposed plan. Also, some expansion and remodeling of. What is that? The Little Round Top Schoolhouse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing
But
is
it's
like
from
my point.
2017, and I don't know what alterations have been made
since then.
to that plan since.
Okay, so here's the
there,
next
but there
logical
has to be one second, Ronnie.
Yeah.
There has to be a version of the plan from the public
It is
comment
not online.
period.
It
right?
is not published online.
But I mean, you should be able to just, I mean, when
When
they
was
had.
the
I-
pub- that's the
I
point.
have
When
a-
was the public comment
What?
period? Right?
Wait,
That
what?
doesn't-
There was no
when
public. But
There
was there? There was.
There was.
There
It
had
was
to be.
2
On
or
the
3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, I think there was. I think I remember hearing. But so then that's got to. You should be able to find it there. No.
That's gone.
What's gone?
All of that.
The
is
records
gone.
of the
Yeah,
public-
You can't find that online. You're probably going to have to file a Freedom of Information Act request to get
What?
it. I swear to God.
Why is it so top
Well,
secret?
That's not top secret. It's just if you're requesting records from the government,
Yeah.
you have to file a FOIA request.
Oh, any governments
From
or
a lot of
any
things, yeah.
documents? Oh,
Not
okay.
like if you go to the National Archives,
Right.
or stuff like that. You have to fill out a request for them,
Yeah.
but it's not a FOIA request.
Right, I gotcha. All right, Ronnie, I'm sorry we cut you off.
No. My observation is this: if it's the Park Service themselves doing the work, right? Like,
Right.
Just as if we would never get a notice that they're going to weed whack around a particular monument, right?
Right.
Even though this is a larger scale project, if they're doing it themselves, then I don't see that the public is entitled to any kind of like advance notice or anything
Sure
like
they
that.
are.
Why?
No, for weed whacking?
Because they
No,
work
even for-
I'm
even
not
for a
talking
larger
about
project.
something ridiculous as that, but
Even for a
absolutely.
larger project, why? Because it would
Because
be,
it's
it would
our
be-
money.
No,
But
it would,
listen,
but it would, in
it's-
theory, it would be put into their budget already. But
it's
they're
irrelevant.
paying
But
salaried
I
people.
would have to
that-
back up
that's
that. I would have to
totally
back up
irrelevant.
that argument that it is like the taxpayers' money, though.
It is our money, but it's more importantly, it's our property,
That's right.
right? So if they're going to restrict our ability to
Use our property, they should give us a discount on our
Exactly.
taxes.
Utilize our property, they have to tell us, right? If they're going out and they're brush hogging a field, that's not really restricting your access to it. It's, maybe don't go stand in front of the tractor pulling the brush hog. That's a bad idea, but
That's
you
just
know,
regular
So
otherwise,
is
that-
your
they're
is
not
your complaint that they
shutting
didn't
it
tell
off.
you in enough time, or they didn't tell you like
I'm
where the
not
contract's been
complaining one
awarded
way
or
or the
anything?
other.
I don't have
I'm
complaints.
just curious as to why I can't find what is actually happening anywhere.
Well, the sad part is because it's right before the busy season, and people like Devil's Den, especially Devil's Den and Little Round Top. Little Round Top's been announced, obviously, but like Devil's Den, this being so close to the season and like so last minute, people probably been planning their vacations here for a while and wanting to see Devil's Den.
Well,
and
well,
now,
Okay, so then that brings us into the next thing, and this is what I really wanted to get into, is when they announced, a Little Round Top's going to be closed, then people go, well, I guess I won't be going to Gettysburg that year. And then, Devil's Den's closing now. Well, I guess I won't be going to Gettysburg this year.
So lame.
It is so lame because it's like, I mean, I understand. I like those areas. I love Sunset on Little Round Top. I love
They
that,
close them forever. Just close them.
I hope they raise them to the
no problem
ground.
with that.
No, so I get that. I do. I don't get the idea of, well, if I can't see the one thing out of 6,000 acres that I like to go to, then there's no point in going to anything else. That's ridiculous to me, and I don't. That's so petulant. Like you're like a child.
Wait, but you got
What?
to consider all the types of people that are coming here because we're all very much history minded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but for like the average Joe that might not be history minded,
absolutely.
These
the
are
guys,
people who profess to be history minded.
But
regardless,
exactly.
regardless of whether they profess or not, like our overall goal is to get more interest in Gettysburg.
Sure.
And like the window into that for
Yes.
most people that aren't already into it is Little Round Top and Devil's Den.
Absolutely, Colby. I absolutely agree with you. But my thing is, this is an opportunity for you to learn more than just what the movie
Bingo.
taught you. And maybe people don't want to learn. I mean, there are people that hate. You hear people go, "Oh my God, my brain hurts." Like, I think their brain really does hurt. Like they don't like to learn.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing about Devil's Den, though. Okay. Now they say it's going to close on the 20th. And let me preface this all first by saying I love the people at our park here. I love our park. I think they do a fantastic job. It's not an easy job. It's a lot of porous land. Like, you can't close it at night because there's too many ways in.
Right.
And you can't, get enough law enforcement to cover every way in every night. And so it's a tough job. It's got to be a tough job to maintain it. And I think they do a fantastic job.
Sure.
I think our interpretive rangers are the best in the country, probably. And I say that without, any knowledge of other interpretive rangers. But, of course, I want to brag on our people. But here's where they really I just am scratching my head. You got the 21st, it's going to close. We all know this. Everybody's like, it's only 2 weeks away. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. We went through that, right?
Yeah.
It closes on the 21st. It's only the Devil's Den. It's not anywhere around there. You can still drive around it. Right. You can still, right? Okay. Still, I'm not coming to Gettysburg because I can't go stand on a boulder, but I could look at it from the other side of the plastic orange fence. Somebody knocks over a porta-john. Now, kids will be kids, right? And there's nothing more fun to a kid, apparently, than knocking over a construction site porta-john, okay? Now, the reaction that was on the Facebook page of the park, I say this with love, ladies and gentlemen. There needs to be a better job communicating coming from the Park Service to the public. That's why people get angry. That's why people get upset. That's why people go, well, I'm not going to Gettysburg. Because they feel like they're peons and you're treating them like they're nothing, but you just have to say something. And the way it was posted on Facebook, it was basically like a sophomore in high school taking his ball and going home. And they use a hashtag. What was the hashtag? Closed means closed.
Swear to Christ.
That was going to be my disclaimer. I didn't see that. I didn't see this, what you're talking about.
You didn't see this post?
No, I haven't been on social
so
media that much
people
this week.
went
I don't
nuts.
blame
People went nuts. Some people. Other people were like, I love this. Like I saw a few people said, it's unbelievable how little respect people have for history. And it's like, wait, it's a porta-john.
I saw one dude who was like, they should be thrown in prison for life.
Yes,
That's
I saw that one.
Excessive, don't you reckon?
Of course it
Welcome
is.
to the juror pool.
Yeah,
Be a
right.
bit much, man.
So I just wish that someone in the Park Service had read that before the person who wrote it posted it and said, you can't say it like that. Because it was basically like,
It was a bit petulant.
it didn't, what was it?
It came off a bit petulant.
It was petulant, and it was also kind of sadistic. It was like, this is why we can't have nice things. It didn't take very long for one of you idiots to go out there and ruin it for us.
I don't think that
It didn't say it. I said it's like this. This is the attitude behind it. Go ahead and find it and read it out loud, and you'll see what I'm saying. Owen's got it. Go ahead, Owen. Go into the one next to him. Speak into the microphone.
right here.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
Well, that didn't take long. This was the Devil's Den Rehab project this morning, and it's a photo of
The toilet.
a porta-john on its side and some construction fencing laying on the ground. Construction fence was taken down, and the portable toilet was knocked over. We hoped not to have to take further steps, but here we are. Road gates will now be locked. Additional security will be added, and federal citations will be issued. Hashtag closed means closed. Now, if you'll notice, nowhere in there does it say that the gates are only going to be locked after hours.
So this is my point. This is the thing I was going to say. They're closing it at night when we're not allowed to be there anyway.
That's when they're closing it. I was under the impression that it would be closed all day.
Because when you read that Facebook post, that's what it sounds like.
That's exactly what it sounds
to me like whoever wrote it was so angry that they didn't even think to make sure it was informative and all that other stuff, and they just wanted to send.
Or maybe that was the original knee-jerk decision, and then somebody said, let's just
could be
tamp that down a little bit and go back to.
As far as I know, have they, or let me ask you this, Eric, have they posted any kind of clarification on there officially, or has it come from...
I don't know. There's 500 comments on that post. There's not an edit to it, and it's been shared 418 times.
Caleb D also has, he or she, I don't know, Caleb, I guess could go both ways, but I'm going to assume it's a he, wants to know, are we sure? Was it confirmed that it was a person that knocked it over and not the crazy wind we've been getting lately?
I don't remember it being that
crazy
windy.
wind.
Supposedly, this had happened every night since they closed it, which is
What,
3 days.
people knocked it over every night?
Apparently.
Today's the 25th. That would have been 4 days,
So
right?
4 days of...
So
Well,
it
this was
started on the 21st,
this was on
right?
Wednesday, so
That makes
So
me
2
think it was the
days.
wind
2 days.
even
Monday,
more.
Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday night.
No, you know why I don't think it's the wind? I'll tell you why. Because the fence is down just in front of the Porta-John, and also the wind doesn't come from the direction that the fence and the Porta-John fell in. The wind comes from the west and the south, or southwest. And so that would have come over the boulders and down. I don't think it's wind.
Those are
I
pretty
don't care
sturdy.
if it was wind or not. It really
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me. Yeah, there's only like 50 gallons of blue water in the bottom. The whole, I don't know. It was irrelevant to me, period, because your new restrictions haven't changed anything.
Yeah.
Like you were always going to get a federal citation for my God.
For vandalism.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, the V word. Yeah.
Yeah.
You already couldn't be there after hours anyway.
Yes.
So
So basically, they
locking
just-
the gate after hours didn't affect
Yeah.
anything.
They're just shouting what they already do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It is illegal to murder. We know that.
There was, I believe, another post on there after that, but I don't see that anymore.
Well, another post that they put up?
Yeah.
But it didn't have anything to do with that, did it?
I thought it did, but I might be wrong about that.
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean-
I haven't seen them ever delete anything, which is nice.
Yeah, that's good because
I don't
that
think they're allowed to.
probably
Like,
not. But they can go in and edit it and update it, and
Yeah, you can.
or they can make a new post that says.
But you couldn't remove anything from the
Right.
original one.
I don't know. I just think that first of all, everybody that's all upset that they're both closing, they've got to close them. They've got to do this
Yeah,
work.
my God, if
Now,
if
for
you're
that, I'm about
complaining
it.
about it, my God, have you been to Devil's Den in the last 5
They
years?
haven't.
It's
If they have-
washing away.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it is
they-
washing away.
Can we just circle back?
Yes.
So I thought the original outrage was because there was so little advance notice, to the extent even that I believe Tim Smith
For Devil's Den.
Which was
right for
part of
Devil's
it.
Den. That was my big observation is we've known for months about the projected Little Round Top project. Why couldn't this have also been given notice or whatever? There are literally licensed battlefield guides that had tours scheduled to specific areas that they didn't even know about Devil's Den being closed until the public found out a week in advance of when it was going to happen. So that's
See,
what I'm
that seems
saying. Like,
wrong.
how did that? It couldn't have just magically happened that they decided to do this project. They had to have had some kind of lead up time, and I don't understand what the secret was behind keeping it to the last
Yeah.
minute. I don't
This
get
is
it.
something that I think all three of us have had conversations about before. Is there's just a general lack of communication from the Park Service to the public, which is frustrating, and it
Yes.
causes a lot of unnecessary outrage all over the interwebs, because that's the thing to do, is be angry on the interwebs these days. Mm-hmm. That just all it takes is like a 3-sentence post on Facebook, and everybody on the face of the planet is going to know about it.
Yeah.
like same day.
Right.
That's all you got to do. I don't know why things are being kept secret.
That's my point. Yeah.
Well,
and I'm with you on that, 100%.
Yeah, and so, but here's the thing, and I'm going to use this old cliche: perception is reality, right? We
100%.
perceive it to be that it's being kept secret, but it could very well be a legitimate reason why it seems that way. But they're not doing anything to assuage us of that notion.
No.
And here's the thing: after the last 2 years, fewer people trust any of our government institutions. And like the Park Service should not be on the list of untrustworthy.
No, it's the
right?
Park Service.
It's the
for
Park
God's
Service.
sake.
We're supposed to love the Park Service. We're supposed to have fun there and enjoy it. And it's like you're just contributing to that distrust that's already there. And I don't like it because, why, ladies and gentlemen? I love Gettysburg National Military Park. And I want people to come here, and I want people to have fun here and learn here. And I want them to feel like it is their park because, after all, it is our goddamn park.
Language.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Galdern Park, ladies and gentlemen. But that's that. Now, we've gone a little over here on this one, but we're, whatever. We're back. We're back. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with our guest, Ross Hetrick. A lot of exciting things going on in Ross's world, and soon in in Gettysburg itself. And so we'll come back. We'll talk about that. And that's about it. We'll see who else is here, too. We'll be right back.
Think outside the bus and let family-owned Gettys Bike Tours take you on a cycling journey across the picturesque and historic Gettysburg battlefield. There's no better way than by bicycle to gain a feel for the terrain of the battlefield. Slow enough to see it all, yet fast enough to do it
now
all.
Now would
Follow
be a
the
good
route
time to
of
get up and
Union
stretch.
troops entering
Blood
the
clots
fray as
are
you
deadly.
ride to the
We'll
site
be
for
back.
the first shots of this epic 3-day battle. Feel the drama as you put yourself in the position of a Confederate soldier just before he steps off to make Pickett's charge. Take a stand with the heroic Colonel Chamberlain on the slopes of Little Round Top just before you view the fields of honor beneath you from its summit. All of our guides are officially licensed by the National Park Service. So don't get a sore neck trying to see out of your car and saddle up with Gettys Bike Tours for a 360-degree view of America's most important piece of real estate. Gettys Bike Tours. Think outside the bus. Go to gettysbike.com or call 717-752-7752 to book a battlefield experience you will never forget.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Welcome. You have in your hands a virtual time machine set to transport you to July of 1863.
More than 7 years ago, our father knew such men in an army before.
This device immerses you in the stories that unfolded here at Gettysburg. You can meet the people who lived these stories.
They were trying to take away our way of life.
Stand next to them. Some will even talk to you. Explore the grounds to discover artifacts and secrets that remain here. And all the while, layers of information are at your fingertips. You're about to engage in a powerful new way to experience history. Your time machine is activated. The controls have rolled back the years, and you have arrived to witness a turning point in American history.
Have you noticed our revamped website at addressinggettysburg.com? Well, that's the fine work of a man named Mike Stretch, and he also redid our logo for us. Both of them I originally designed, and both of them were originally horrible, but now they're nice, and that's all thanks to Mike. Mike has an awesome t-shirt company called Heritage Depot. There you'll find great designs based on Gettysburg and the Civil War with t-shirts and other types of merchandise. So go to heritage-depot.com and spruce up your Gettys Nerd wardrobe. That's heritage-depot.com. Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used. And online, they have even more to choose from. And if the Civil War isn't your thing, that's not a problem. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books. It's astounding how many thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more they have in their store. And that's because, well, they have a warehouse too. And that's where they keep all the books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs. And if you prefer to stop by when you're in town, well, you could do that too. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com or stop by 42 York Street, or you can call them at 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Matt and the gang will be back.
No, we're coming back. We're back already. Oh, sorry again, folks. I have a
show.
different system than what I'm used to, and I'm rusty. So forget that. You heard that bad part there. Ross Hetrick, ladies and gentlemen, is the founder and president of the Thaddeus Stevens Society. Correct, Ross?
That is correct.
All right. And why don't I hear you again? I wanna shoot. Oh, there we are. So Ross, you what's coming up? It's a big deal that's coming up here for you and for the Thaddeus Stevens Society and for Thaddeus Stevens is his memory itself. Correct?
Yes. This is going to be the dedication of only the second statue of Thaddeus Stevens in the world.
Really?
Okay, and also it's a dedication of a new statue in Gettysburg. There hasn't been any dedication for a statue for a long time. But it's really important because unlike most of the statues here, which are military figures and Abraham Lincoln, this will be a person who actually lived for a long time in Gettysburg for 26 years.
Right.
And was a prominent citizen and actually was involved in building Gettysburg, besides being a national figure who changed the course of history in the United States.
Owned a lot of property here.
Yeah, actually, he was the largest property owner at certain points. And he also owned an iron mill, which is like 18,000 acres to the west of Gettysburg.
Which early has been destroyed, right?
That's right.
Yes. Caledonia.
Yeah, Caledonia.
Ironworks.
Yeah, it was the largest civilian financial loss of the Gettysburg campaign, which is not included at the National Park Service, despite my efforts to get them to recognize that.
Why do you find resistance? Why do you think that is?
I think it's just, I sent a letter, got no response.
Oh.
It's not like I made a big campaign out of it.
Oh, okay.
But I think something like that should have been recognized in the past, but obviously wasn't. Maybe if we keep on knocking on the door, they'll eventually include it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that you have coming up here now? It's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of April. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's the overall thing is the 230th birthday of Thaddeus Stevens.
Wow.
He was born in 1792.
Jeez.
In the second term of George Washington. Okay. And it's kind of amazing to think that he lived from the second term of George Washington to Andrew Johnson.
Yeah.
He sort of like encompassed the whole early history of the United States.
What year did he die?
1868.
1868. Okay, so not long after the war. And
but that was an incredible amount. What he did from 1865 to 1868 was rather incredible.
Right.
Because he basically, as I'm probably going to say at the dedication, Gettysburg has the distinction of being the connection to 3 major leaders. Obviously, Abraham Lincoln, Eisenhower, and Thaddeus Stevens, who I call the 17th and a half president because he led a veto-proof Congress against Andrew Johnson. Basically, if you wanted to get something done from 65 to 68, you had to go through Thaddeus Stevens.
Okay. Why do you think Thaddeus Stevens is not as well-known and almost worshipped as a fellow like Lincoln or, other people from our history? I mean, the guy, when we had you on the show last year, I think I said something like, it sounds like he kind of like refounded the country and made it, or at least started what it is today.
Right.
So why don't we ever hear about him? I mean,
well, Americans kind of hate history. I mean, we have this big controversy right now because people say, "Oh, we don't want to talk about race in our history." But of course, that's been a big topic.
Sure.
in our history.
But I guess it makes sense though. If you don't want to talk about history, why would you want to talk about anything in history?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, people don't. Yeah.
And you go up to, if you go up to a knowledgeable person in this country, he will maybe know 3 or 4 presidents.
Yeah.
But he won't know who Millard Fillmore was.
Yeah, or James K. Polk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Though K. Polk actually was incredibly significant. He actually expanded the country to see the shining sea. But anyway, that's another
but I
topic.
can't imagine that only like 6 presidents out of all of them, were remarkable. I mean, there were probably other ones, but for whatever reason, it's just not embedded in our mind.
And so the problem with the memory of Thaddeus Stevens is that he was, and this is really kind of amazing, he was sort of the lowest person in the hierarchy of important people in our government. You have first the president, then you have senators. Nobody remembers senators either. And then you have members of the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of like members of the House of Representatives are sort of like all the uncool kids, that can't become senators or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
And the fact that Thaddeus Stevens, that was the highest place that he rose to, was being a member of the House of Representatives. Yet because of the unusual times, because they excluded the Southerners from Congress after the Civil War, and because he was such a sort of a force of nature in the House, and even though he didn't actually, if you just take the bare facts that he was chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, you say, well, what's the big deal there? But the fact that he was actually the leader of the radical Republicans, who were a close, disciplined group in the House of Representatives that were able to just affect change beyond their number. And he also was the greatest parliamentary leader in history. His parliamentary feats, were astounding. So that's one reason he's probably not as well known as the presidents. And then there's been a systematic effort to demonize him over the years.
Why?
Because he was for equality.
Right.
He actually, unlike any other members of the House of Representatives, have had 3 movies where he was a character.
And a demon in 2 of the 3, right?
Yeah, demon in 2 of the 3.
What were those?
The first one is the notorious Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
Where a character called Austin Stoneman, based on Thaddeus Stevens, was the villain because he was for equality.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the heroes were the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
And that was a silent movie made back in 1915.
And it's long, too.
About 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was like a groundbreaking film at that time. It had close-ups. It had montage. It was a revolutionary film as far as technique was concerned. Would you be interested in hearing my little story about my first encounter with Birth of a Nation?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I am also a film buff, okay? And when I was in high school, I would read about film, and I saw, articles in the World Book Encyclopedia about Birth of a Nation, and it was saying, how this was the first epic film, and that it was about the Civil War and Reconstruction. And so I was over at the local college town, and I saw up in a marquee of a theater. This is back in the 60s for all those young guys. And when we had to actually go to movies to see movies, unless they happened to be on television, okay? And so I saw up on a marquee, Birth of a Nation. I thought, wow, great, good to see Birth of a Nation. So I got my girlfriend and went over there, and they had a scroll at the beginning of the film saying all the great things about the film, and it said, and it continues to be a yardstick for modern films. So we were watching it, and the first part about the Civil War is pretty straightforward. And then it really gets weird about Reconstruction, that you start seeing the Ku Klux Klan riding to the rescue and, and lynching people, and how, you know, the big finale is where they have the Ku Klux Klan lined up to prevent blacks from voting and such like that. And you know, we're just like, me and my girlfriend are just like, our jaws are dropping. And I just remember walking out of the film and my girlfriend saying, "We need a new yardstick."
Well,
but
okay.
I'll just to sort of finish up. So that was the first film against him, and then you had a film in 1942 where it was called Tennessee Johnson, which was a bioflick about Andrew Johnson, which made Andrew Johnson to be a hero, and Thaddeus Stevens to be the villain. Be a zealot who really, as it was played, Van Heflin played Andrew Johnson, and Lionel Barrymore played Thaddeus Stevens.
Okay.
Lionel Barrymore played Mr. Potter in
It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there was one part where Van Heflin accuses Thaddeus Stevens of trying to enslave the white Southerners. You know, which is not the case. You know.
No.
So anyway, so you have one, that he wasn't a president. Two, people don't like history. Three,
Demonized
the
movies.
demonizing of him over the years, including legitimate historians called the Dunning School, which basically demonized the whole period of Reconstruction as just a vengeance fest by the North. You know, that's way that they traditionally taught that up until the 60s, when it started to change. But I remember growing up in the 60s, that was the way it was taught in my junior high school, that this was just something the North just said to itself, well, geez, we're real mad about the fact that you know, caused the war, and now we're just going to beat up on you. But the thing about that is it wasn't true at all. I mean, if you look at the way we treated the Germans in World War II, you know, everybody says, "Oh, we treated them so well." We hung a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had the Nuremberg trials and so on and so
Well,
forth.
but we didn't do that to random people, though. I mean, we
No,
did
we
that.
didn't.
Yeah.
You know
It's to criminals.
You know how many people were tried for war crimes after the Civil War?
One.
Right. One person.
And he was hanged.
And he was hanged. Yeah, that was, and it also probably made it easier because he was a foreigner.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they did.
You know, was he Swiss? Was he Swiss or
something like that? Swiss, Belgium.
Wirtz.
You know. Yeah, Wirtz.
From
exactly.
Andersonville.
But you know, and then the guy who led the fight got to be a college president. You know, and the president of the rebel country got to write his enormous memoirs. And,
Yeah.
And
But
so-
let's say that Reconstruction was Northern vengeance. You should have thought of that before you started the war, folks. I mean, come on. You think we're human beings? You think we're not going to get mad and get revenge? Go ahead.
But I don't think. I think there wasn't a lot of revenge. It was just responsibility. I mean, because basically the Southern whites declared open season on blacks that dared to try to exercise their political rights.
Yeah.
And so the North really didn't have any other choice, if they were going to accept their responsibility of putting military control on them and giving, you know, the black population political rights. And that's the thing that gets me, is that when it really boils down to it, their vengeance is giving rights to the former slaves.
Yeah. Oh, I know. The poetry of the Lost Cause religion is just wonderful. You know, the imagination they have, the mental gymnastics you have to do. It's really just fantastic the way they were able to do that. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I grew up in the North, in New Jersey, and our history books had what I would recognize today as Lost Cause stuff.
Right.
At the time, I didn't know any better, you know. So I'm like, oh, well, it was just simply a family dispute, you know. where you killed 500,000 of your brothers, and yeah, it was silly. So okay, so let's talk about something fun and happy though. Tell us about what's going on exactly on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of April. What are all the festivities that you've got planned?
It's going to be wonderful.
Where's the statue going to be?
The statue is going to be in front of the old courthouse.
The old courthouse
at 111 Baltimore Street.
The old courthouse.
The historic courthouse.
The courthouse.
There's the courthouse that's been there since 1858.
Okay, because I was like, the old courthouse was in the middle of the square.
Yeah,
like, okay.
The old because it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But
no, I understand. Okay, so it's going to be in front of the courthouse, which is pretty cool. How did you get it in front of the courthouse?
We asked the county commissioners, and they said okay.
They said, all right. That was easy. So is it that easy to get stuff in front of the courthouse?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, that was the only time that we did that.
I'd like to get a statue of Eric, the producer, in front of the courthouse.
Yeah,
with his kepi and his beard.
Yeah, we were.
His t-shirts.
I would say we just hit them at the right time, and they said, yeah, go ahead and do it.
Can I jump in here? You guys are having this tendency of shortchanging yourselves and all the effort you guys have done. Matt first with the podcast and all the work, and now you. Ross, I personally know that, it wasn't just as easy as, reaching out to the commissioners and asking for their goodwill. You have been busting your ass for Thaddeus Stevens and promoting his memory through the Thaddeus Stevens Society since what 1990?
1999.
1999. Okay, and I know that you've advocated starting with something as seemingly simple as putting a picture of Thaddeus in the old courthouse, right in the borough chambers, and having to educate councilmen who had no clue who this guy was. This has been years and years of work, not to mention the fact that you busted your rear end again to fundraise and actually get the statue paid for with the generous donation of, I know, a lot of the members and one in particular.
Right.
But I want to impress upon the audience. Ross has really spearheaded not only this whole entire weekend celebration, which is jam-packed with speakers and events and the permits
pit beef?
and
Is there
everything.
pit beef?
The banquet.
Pit
there
beef,
are banquets two
okay.
nights during this thing, right? All joking aside, this was a big undertaking that Ross, and I, on behalf of the community, congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It's a big deal.
And the clapper. That was your job, and I did it first. So, yeah, that is a lot of stuff. Tell me about the banquets.
Well, we're going to have a banquet at the Majestic at 6. Well, let me back up and start with the events over in Lancaster, because this is a 3-day celebration. It starts over in Lancaster, where we're going to get an update on the restoration of his house over there on Queen and Vine. And then we're going to have a seminar over at Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology, where we're going to be having Brad Hoke, who wrote the book Thaddeus Stevens in Gettysburg, talking about the Buckshot War, which is one of the weirdest events in Pennsylvania history, where a Democratic mob took over the capital of Harrisburg, and Thaddeus Stevens, who was on the other side, had to jump out a window to get away from a rampaging mob.
Jeez.
And then I'm going to be speaking about my two great passions, Thaddeus Stevens and movies. So it's going to be Thaddeus Stevens in the movies, where I will be giving a critique of the Lincoln movie, which I really like, but there's certain flaws in it. Okay?
Sure, of course.
And then after that, we're going to have the traditional annual graveside ceremony at his grave, which is one of the most inspirational graves that I've ever come across. I don't know if would you like me to recite his epitaph?
Go ahead.
Okay. I repose in this quiet and secluded spot, not from any natural preference for solitude, but finding other cemeteries limited as to race by charter rules. I have chosen this that I might illustrate in my death the principles which I advocated through a long life, equality of man before his creator.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Pretty eloquent. He chose that small cemetery because it was the only integrated cemetery in Lancaster when he died.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised they had those back then.
Integrated cemeteries at all.
At all. Yeah.
Shows you how forward.
Was it a religious? How was it integrated?
No, it was just a guy by the name of Shriner, because it's called the Shriner Concord Cemetery.
He used to ride around in a horse and buggy that was really small with a goofy hat, right? That's how they get the name.
Not Shriner. This is before the Shriners came along. But anyway, he was. They just decided to start a family cemetery, and it was non-denominational, and it was open to everybody except for suicides. They wouldn't allow suicides
Interesting.
in there.
Okay.
But so that was where he's buried, and his drunken nephew is buried right next to him.
His drunken nephew. All right, so I'm not trying to rush you here, take away anything from you, but we have a long distance call from Poland.
Poland.
And it's not related, but you'll see why I have to. You'll see why I have to take it right now.
Sure.
Stick with us here, Ross.
Go ahead.
Let me see if I can get this here. JD Huitt, are you on the air?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you very much, JD. Hello, JD Huitt, ladies and gentlemen, from the History Underground. You know him, you love him. He is over in Poland, and JD, I have to be honest, I haven't been keeping up with details of what you're doing because I've been busy doing other stuff here. So I'm assuming that you're over there on a humanitarian type mission, helping refugees from Ukraine. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's accurate. I've been here. Gosh, I've lost track of time now. About 2 weeks.
Okay.
So my son and I are here working with an organization called World Central Kitchen, right on the border between Poland and Ukraine.
Very nice. And how did you get involved with that? Were you involved with them prior to this, or did you? What brought this about?
No. So whenever the invasion started, I started looking for opportunities to serve wherever I could, help wherever I could. On the channel, I'm pretty private about like my family life and things like that. But my wife and I, in 2011 and in 2013, adopted 3 kids from Ukraine in the Donetsk region. Yeah. So at the end of 2013, if you ever seen the documentary Winter on Fire on Netflix, kind of where all of this unrest started.
Okay.
We were there while all of that was happening, and I was at the Maidan protests, and it was some pretty wild times.
Okay. So you've got a history with this.
Very, very much so. Very much so. The orphanage where my kids came from was pretty much wrecked and destroyed, by Russian separatists, and it's just been terrible. We also have a lot of friends who remain in Ukraine. I have some very deep ties with this country, and wanted to help out however I can. So reached out to several different organizations, and World Central Kitchen was the one that contacted me back that said, yeah, come over. We could use some help. And so I've been working with them for the past couple of weeks, right on the border. Like where my station is at is probably 20 yards, 30 yards from the border fence. And then a few days ago, we actually went down through Slovakia and into Ukraine to get some stuff to some friends.
Wow.
So what is it like over there? I mean, of course, we see things on the news and nobody really knows what to believe. So can you tell us what it's like, seeing everything you're seeing?
Indescribably sad.
Yeah.
So I have some basic Russian language skills. So I'm able to talk to a lot of these people who are coming across the border, and the stories that they tell are just absolutely awful. And then we visited with friends a couple of days ago, And these are people who have lost everything. A lot of what I'm seeing is people coming across the border carrying everything that they have in grocery sacks. That they just shoved some clothes and some documents in a bag and got the heck out. The numbers kind of ebb and flow. So, we might sit there, and just have like a trickle of people coming through for a little while, and then all of a sudden, there will be hundreds. I talked to a UN worker the other day, and it had been kind of a slow day as far as people coming across the border, and he said on that day it had been about 10 to 12,000. On an average day, we're looking at, he said, around 40. Real heavy day, maybe 50,000. So
what when you have these people, what are you doing? Like just feeding them and giving them clothes and shelter? What's going on?
Yeah, so where I'm at, like I said, it's right on the border. So whenever people get to us, there's a bus that picks them up and takes them to a rail hub where they can either go to Krakow or they can go to Warsaw, and then from there they can go to different places in Europe. So what we're doing with World Central Kitchen is a lot of these people have been traveling for days, and we're getting them a hot meal and getting them some food. There are other tents that are set up that are providing, a lot of everybody that's coming over really is women and children, because men ages 18 to 60 have to stay and fight.
Right.
So there's services set up providing, supplies for women and kids. And then something that we've kind of stumbled on that has been a huge need are suitcases. Like I'm making multiple runs buying suitcases every day, and people are just, you wouldn't believe how much a suitcase would mean to a person. A couple days ago, there was a man from Kyiv, old guy. If I had to guess, I would say he was probably about 70 or 75.
Right.
But he was carrying these two large grocery bags, kind of like what you'd have at Aldi or something. And I asked him in Russian if he would like a suitcase, and he just grabbed me around the neck and hugged me and started crying, just because he was so appreciative of it. And then as far as like the meals, there was a lady who came up from Odessa, and she'd been traveling for 3 days, and on a bus that had managed to get through, and she had a bowl of soup, and again, it was just very emotional, because she said that she had only had like some bread over the course of that 3 days. So yeah, it's been, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have the words for it.
No, I wouldn't either. I would imagine
it's hard to watch.
It's something nobody could probably describe it. You have to be there to understand it. JD, we have a very generous audience. How can they help you in the organization's effort over there? Is there a way?
Yeah, sure. So World Central Kitchen is WCK.org. So you can donate to them. I can vouch for this organization. They're outstanding. I have been beyond impressed with what they do. This is not the only place that they're operating. They're at all of the border crossings, at least that I know of. They're also, have stations set up in Ukraine. So that is a great organization to donate to. And like I said, I can't recommend them enough.
Good. Then everybody go ahead. And you said it's WCK, right?
Yeah, World Central Kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
.com or org?
.org.
.org, okay. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you can go over there and do whatever you can. JD, very, very, it's It's very brave of you, very awesome of you to do that. And I know it's after 10 o'clock for you over there. So I want to let you go and get some rest because you're probably exhausted. But I thank you for calling in, and God go with you, my friend. And let us know, if you want to update us every Friday that you're there. By all means, just feel free to call in. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye. Okay. So that's why I had to do that there, Ross, because I wanted him to get to bed. All right. So. Real quick, is there a website where people can go to see everything that's going on here? We have to go for a break, and we'll be back, and you'll stay with us, and we'll talk more during the news about what's happening. But what's the website people can go to see what's...
You can go to our home web page, which is Thaddeus Stevens Society, all one word, .com.
All right, Thaddeus Stevens... Yeah, go ahead.
And there's various... on the left side, there's a particular web... or page about the 230th birthday that you can click on, and it gives all the information as to what will be happening and such.
Okay. Well, that's it for now. So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Ronnie's going to come back with her news, and I know you've all missed the news. Ronnie has missed the news. She's missed giving you the news. And, of course, we're going to talk about Ross's event as well during the news. So we'll get back to that and your calls if you want to call in. We will be right back.
Matt and the gang will be back after these words. But don't fret. Our commercial breaks are designed to help you plan your next trip. Stick around.
Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. Isn't it, Eric?
You're darn tootin', Matt.
It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used, and online they have even more books to choose from.
But Matthew, what if the Civil War is simply not my thing?
Not a problem, my fine four-fendered friend. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books.
It's astounding how they squeeze thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more into their store.
And it's also astounding how you and I both squeeze into our pants every day. Well, handsome, they have a warehouse too, and that's where they keep all those books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs.
What if I prefer to browse in the store and don't want to go online to get my books?
Great question, Doodlebug. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com, stop by 42 York Street, or call 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
This special episode of Addressing Gettysburg is brought to you in part by me, audiobook narrator Mike Scott, narrator of Savas Beatty's Bloody Autumn, the Shenandoah Valley Campaign of 1864, and Unlike Anything That Ever Floated, the Monitor and Virginia and the Battle of Hampton Roads. If you are an author or publisher interested in having your titles produced as audiobooks, or even just in learning more about the process, give me a shout. You can find my contact info on my website, MikeScottVoice.com. That's MikeScottVoice.com. Hey, historian, author, and licensed battlefield guide Tim Smith. Matt gave me a full minute, so let me ask you an important question. Isn't it about time that John Burns' Hero of Gettysburg became an audiobook? Sickles has an audiobook. You know Jenny Wade is going to deserve an audiobook. Let's give John a shot. Get in touch, Tim. It's MikeScottVoice.com. I'm Mike Scott, your voice of history.
What do Getty's Bike Tours customers say?
Very family friendly. We had a wonderful time with our son.
Me and my friends were able to rent these bikes and go at our own pace, so we were able to just do what we wanted to do when we wanted to do it, and I highly recommend it to anybody else.
It seemed like the right way to go to view the wonderful sights and also get an incredible amount of history from Bob.
Our tour guide Bruce was so knowledgeable about the facts and the history of these battlefields that I came away with an understanding that was unmatched by any other means.
The breeze on the battlefield made up for the hot day.
I had a wonderful time, great trip, lots of history, wonderful bike ride, perfect weather. Could have asked for a nicer day. Highly recommend it.
If you're going to tour Gettysburg, I would recommend doing it on the bike. It's a lot of fun.
I loved it. It was awesome.
We really couldn't stump the professor with any of our questions, so we thought it was really well worth it.
It was an excellent day out and got you outside and experienced the weather. Beautiful weather out here today.
We had a lot of fun. If you're thinking about it, I'd just say give it a shot. It was awesome for us, and I hope it's awesome for you guys too.
Go to gettysbike.com or call 717-752-7752 to book a battlefield experience you will never forget.
Civil War Trails. It's the world's largest open-air museum, and they offer over 1,300 sites across 6 states. Drive the Gettysburg Campaign turn by turn, paddle to Frederick Douglass's birthplace, or hike to remote earthworks and artillery positions. Visit civilwartrails.org to request a brochure and explore their interactive map. Follow Civil War Trails and create some history of your own.
Need a Corps badge or other insignia for your uniform? Then check out the Badge Maker. Here's what some of his satisfied customers had to say. Miranda said, I ordered an identification disc from Joe and it's fantastic. He hand stamped it exactly as I wanted. It has a great rough on-campaign feel to it and was reasonably priced to boot. Greg said, my unit has purchased from him in the past. Quality badges and good service. And Jerry S. says, the Badge Maker is the go-to place for accurate replica Civil War badges. Visit CivilWarCorpsBadges.com and attach a message with your order saying you heard about him on Addressing Gettysburg.
Gettysburg, a Nation Divided mobile app, is relaunching this summer. Gettysburg, a Nation Divided is an award-winning mixed reality mobile application using augmented reality technology. It transports users into the most crucial moments in the Battle of Gettysburg, the turning point of the Civil War. Users can listen and watch historic figures share their stories as lifelike animated avatars, traverse 360-degree image sequences of the battlefield. Its cinematic battle sequences are narrated by actor Scott Eastwood. The mobile app is available for free on iOS and Android. It's designed to be used anywhere, at home, at school, at the park, or at Gettysburg National Military Park. It uses GPS to help guide you through your journey to see the stories and events unfold at the exact location where they occurred. So go into your phone's app store and get it now for free. That's Gettysburg, a Nation Divided.
What's up, everybody? It's Pat McGuire, co-host of the History Things podcast. Co-host Matt Borders and I offer a fresh new podcast taking on some of the most famous, as well as some of the most unheard of stories from U.S. and world history. Always conversational and approachable, we take the deep dives that you want into history, as well as exploring the rabbit holes that you didn't even ask us to. New episodes every quarter with follow-up episodes roughly 30 to 40 days afterwards. Download the History Things podcast on most major podcast apps, including Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, and by asking your Amazon Alexa smart device to play the History Things podcast. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the History Things podcast. As always, thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Was that a ghost? Nah, ghosts aren't real. You're back with Addressing Gettysburg today. Now here's Matt.
All right, we are back. That is true. Thank you, Ellen the Clapper. God, you're asleep today. All right, so it is, we got, Ross Hetrick is still here with us, and Ronnie's News is coming up in a bit here. Ross, I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you off there, like I said before, but I wanted to give him a chance to go to bed. All right, so again, real quick, in case it was a little rushed before, website, please.
ThaddeusStevensSociety.com.
And April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are the dates that this is taking place. The whole schedule is up on the website. People can go and see it and see what they want to come and see. You're going to give 2 speeches, you said?
Probably, yeah.
At least 2?
Yeah, at least 2.
You can get a couple more in there?
Yeah, I'll probably, I said that we're going to be doing the seminar over in Lancaster, and I'll probably also be giving a speech at the banquet that we're having here at the Majestic at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
From 6 until 8 o'clock.
Have you written your speech, or are you going to wing it?
I probably will wing it.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll be honest with you. I have no problem talking about Thaddeus Stevens. In fact, my big problem is shutting
Not
up
talking about it.
Thaddeus Stevens. Yeah.
Believe me, that's everybody else's problem too, Ross. Did you know, Ross, that you have made our little sound effect board here? Did you know this?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll help you relive some memories here. You've got. Remember when we had you read that?
That was the highlight of my life.
Well, that's so pathetic. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, we got this one here from that.
You guys suck.
There's that one. This one.
You're assholes. You're not funny. How does Valerie put up with you? And your stupid sound effects. Stop!
And this is my favorite one here.
Shut up!
I just love the way you deliver that "shut up" like that. Okay,
well,
so
I am honored that I am part of your soundboard.
Oh, absolutely.
So how often do you use that?
Well, "shut up" is the one that comes in handy the most.
Oh, okay. So should I get royalties for this?
Unfortunately, that's not how it works in our country. Okay, so everybody go to Ross's website, check all that stuff out. We hope to see you the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I was going to go to see Cam on the 2nd down in West Virginia, but that's 3 hours away. and as much as I want to support my little buddy there, I really would like to go to this. So I don't know. I'm going to try to figure out a way to do both. It's going to be
When
interesting.
does Cam talk?
Like 3:30 in the afternoon, but it's a 3-hour drive.
I understand. I was thinking if it was like 8 o'clock or something, you could do both because the statute of dedication is in the afternoon.
Right now, I would be driving, and then he would get up there and be like, "Hey, today we're going to talk about the swamp dragons."
Yeah.
And then go on for another 4 hours. Yeah. No, you can't. And but Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday, there's stuff going on, so I can go to one of those too there. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, it's a part you've been waiting for all year long. If my computer would ever work, there we go.
You doing news or events first?
She's the gal who knows what's going on, so take notes. There's a test at the end. Here's AG Today's lead anchor, Veronica Brestensky, with news, traffic, weather, sidewalk conditions, and what's happening this weekend.
I must have all possible information.
All right, so it's time for the news. Everybody here is welcome to join us. Thank you very much. We've got, and if you want to take that microphone and pull it more towards the end of the table there with you and Eric, in case you guys want to join, or anybody in the peanut gallery, you can all chime in if you'd like to. Probably should mention we've got Taylor, Colby's wife, here. We've got Tommy and Lexi, Colby's partner in the podcast, and his wife. And, of course, behind Veronica, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kath. Yeah! Kath!
You don't know this, but you've been on.
You've been on the whole time, Kath.
I told her at the start so she could get out of there if she wanted to, but...
It just dawned on me. I happened to look, and... When you can't hear, right? You can't. None of these people could hear JD's phone call. Right. They can't hear the sound effects, so they're all sitting there like, like what are the? And I feel bad because it's like they're all dead. Right?
I know.
But I'm like, no, they just can't hear. So the audience should know that they're not. They're
not mannequins.
They just can't hear.
They're not bored to tears. They just don't know what's going on. But they're also bored to tears.
Right. Yeah.
But it's because they don't know what's going on. Yes. Thank you, Owen. Very good. Okay. So Ronnie, what is new in the news today?
How about this? I actually do have an update about sidewalk conditions in the borough.
No shit.
I don't know if I'll ever have an opportunity to have this again. So
that was totally put in there as a joke, and now you've lived true to your intro.
I latched onto it because just earlier this week, there was fresh concrete poured, including the sidewalk portion outside the courthouse, for the new Thaddeus Stevens monument. So
very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, there's your update about the sidewalk. That is the nicest portion of the sidewalk in the entire borough right now. Otherwise, you try to walk and you fall on your face with all the tree branches underneath and the potholes on the sidewalk and all this other stuff. So that is a nice, clean segment of sidewalk if you guys want to go see this.
Well, that's great. Yeah, good. That's good to know.
So if we put up statues of Thaddeus Stevens all over the place. It's going to improve the sidewalks.
Maybe that's the only way to get the sidewalk improved. Thaddeus Stevens everywhere. People are going to be like, wow, this town really loves Thaddeus Stevens. You reminded me of something, and I don't want to bring the mood down, but really quick, unfortunately, I heard from the mother of one of our brethren Gettys nerds, Jess Shotko. I don't know how many of you out there knew him. He used to come to our Get Out of the Car tours maybe 3 or 4 times a year. He didn't make all of them, but he made a good chunk of them. Loved Gettysburg, loved coming here, and he really loved meeting all of the people on the tours. And said that they're just a nice group of people, a great group of people, and that's true. You all are. He passed away in January, very suddenly, and his mother called me to let me know that, and also she wanted some advice on what to put on a plaque that is going to go on a bench in front of the courthouse, dedicated to him. And I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty nice that the borough lets you do that, or whoever. Yeah, I guess that would be the borough, right? Yeah, because it's their sidewalk. Anyway, so it's going to say, I think, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say, because I think I had her convinced it should just say, in memory of Jess Shotko, a true Gettys nerd. And she liked that. And so hopefully that's what she ends up doing. But when it's put out there, I'll go on social media and do a little video from there or whatever. But when you come into town, stop by the courthouse and say hi to a fallen Gettys nerd that you might not have said hi to before, but now you can, and that is it. So I didn't mean to bring it down, but you just reminded me of the courthouse stuff. Thank you. It is sad. It is very sad, and it's not pleasant to talk to a grieving mother on the phone. Sure. You want to see me cry? That's a good way to do it. Colby was with me, and I had to jump out of the car so he wouldn't see it, but luckily he just kicked me out because he had to go back home to Taylor, so that worked out perfectly.
But I think it reflects upon the fact that the organization that you've created here with Addressing Gettysburg made such an impact on his life that Mom took the time to track you guys down and
but you could say that, but but it's not about.
No,
you're
I'm
absolutely
saying
right.
Jesse's connection to this community that you've built up was I think that's a statement about him and his.
I'm totally with you. I get it.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, back to the news.
So this is an update from the last time we met. I mentioned that there is a new, I guess it would qualify as a restaurant coming to town. The old location of Sunset Ice Cream is going to be turning into the Cottage Creperie. Crepes and things like that. So I have now seen that there is a projected April opening date. No specific date in April as of yet, but they're shooting for the month of April. So
why the secrecy?
Yeah. It could just be that I haven't been on social media and I haven't actually seen a specific date. But the last I saw was they are shooting for an April date. So that's exciting news.
Yeah, that is good.
It'll be interesting to go see a new business in town.
Yeah. Especially a food business.
Yeah.
Because we love
crepes. Yeah. Savory and sweet. From what I understand.
So dessert and dinner.
Yeah.
So you can get them both there. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Ice cream, coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So
good. Congratulations. Good luck to them.
Yeah, absolutely. The other piece of news, just this week on Wednesday morning, the county commissioners during their, I don't even know if that's a monthly meeting or a weekly meeting or bi-weekly.
No.
Whenever the 3 county commissioners get together and have their workshop, they actually did honor the Thaddeus Stevens Society with dedicating a proclamation for the Thaddeus Stevens Dedication Day of the statue. So
nice.
April 2nd is officially Adams County's.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just like Christmas.
So you got so it's you got a day. You got a day for Thaddeus Stevens. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of
You did do a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
good.
There you go. So in terms of news, I mean, that's really it. No cars in the buildings while we've been gone. Not here, anyway.
Wait,
outside.
have there been, though?
Yes, there has.
There has, hasn't there?
Not in Gettysburg.
Outside. Did I not just say
she
not
did,
here?
She did.
Outside of town, but yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
So.
So what?
So that's the news. I have a little bit of obviously some things that overlap with upcoming. With the seasons kind of changing now, we're into spring, and I guess this is half news and half events. But it is officially spring hours, not only for the National Park Service and the Visitor Center, but also the children. I always get this wrong. The Children of Gettysburg 1863 Museum, right?
Right.
So as of April 1st, their spring hours will take effect, and it'll be 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. So if you have kids and you want to check out something to do with them, that's going to be open 7 days a week now from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you got all the hours in the world to visit. And the visitor center is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. now.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of an update there. What else do we have? Oh, so you mentioned this in your opening. So there is an event tomorrow night to celebrate Women's History Month.
Yes.
The Gettysburg Foundation, in conjunction with the National Park Service, is hosting author Dorothy Wickenden.
That's the name.
Yep. So she's going to talk about her book, The Agitators. And The Agitators is about the relationship between Harriet Tubman, Frances Seward, and Martha Coffin Wright, who fought together to overturn slavery and gain rights for the women of this country as the nation was breaking apart during the Civil War. So it should be an interesting talk. The schedule is from 6 to 6:45. If you're interested in getting her book and having it signed, you can interact with Miss Wickenden. And then from 7 to 8 o'clock, she will do the presentation in the visitor center. It's a free event, but you do have to get tickets because they have to account for the seating. So you can go over to the foundation desk and get tickets for that. And that's, again, 7 to 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
And we are not recording that. You can go to the foundation's YouTube page or YouTube channel and watch the video there.
Yeah. So just a couple other things just to keep a lookout for. The Gettysburg Foundation has also announced that in the spring of 2020, they are going to be reopening the historic Lincoln train station. It is going to be an interactive virtual reality museum. So that's pretty exciting.
That should be interesting.
It's going to be called Ticket to the Past: Unforgettable Journeys.
That's clever because it's a train station.
Right?
Get a ticket, yeah.
I'm not in on the ground floor on this, but the last I heard, it literally will be in like a virtual reality with like the little, I don't even know what you call them. Little,
the goggles
VR
or whatever.
Goggles and interact. So that'll be fascinating to see how they're going to pull that off.
Did you ever do one of those? Did you ever use it?
No.
My nephew got one for Christmas, and so we were all the adults were playing with it while the kids were all playing with stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And the one thing I did was a roller coaster. Have you guys ever done this? VR goggles? No? You have? Okay, so I did a roller. It is so realistic. I was standing in the middle of the room, right? You just stand there and you watch from the point of view of somebody in a roller coaster, but you can look all around 360 degrees. You can see everything. I fell down because I lost my balance going down a hill and then up and it was amazing how that, and then you play shoot 'em up games and that's pretty cool too. I would definitely die in a gunfight.
Nice.
Yeah.
A virtual reality gunfight, yeah.
I would virtually die in a gunfight.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's if you ever get the chance. Well, now you will. You can go over here to the museum.
Apparently.
Do we know who's going to be running it? Like, is Bethany doing it too?
No, I don't
Is she going to back and forth?
No, I don't think so. I think she's strictly with the museum. That's her title. She's like the in charge.
Well, we have to find out who that is and have them on as well, because that's
I don't know. That would be interesting.
It would.
So
I'd like to see that.
Just another real quick reminder here. Our buddies over at the Adams County Historical Society earlier this week issued an email to the members outlining a pretty aggressive or ambitious lineup of what they're calling their 2020 battle walks. They start on May 21st with a tour with Tim Smith and Gary Edelman, and they go the whole entire way throughout the year until November 20th, ending up with a tour with Gary and Tim, but there's Larry Kortzik and I think Sue Boardman and all kinds of different
This
walks.
is who? The county? Adams County
Historical Society. So
are they all going to be on the third weekend of the month?
I don't know. There's different dates and things. Now,
well,
you
let me
cannot
tell you
get
something.
tickets yet, but keep an eye on if you want to sign up for email alerts and things like that, go head over to their website and sign up.
Just remember, ours are free.
Right.
And they might not be free every year, so you might want to come to them now while they're free.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
The last thing I will just plug, obviously, I have a vested interest in this, so you're going to get tired of hearing all of us talk about it until next weekend. But next weekend there's exciting stuff going on with the birthday celebration for Thaddeus Stevens. Real quick, Ross, I know it's probably too late to actually have people sign up for the banquets and for the lectures.
Nope.
It's not?
Nope,
Okay.
I can still do that.
Okay, great. Okay, but if people are short on funds or they're not really sure if they can commit, there are some free to the public events. Can you, especially here in Gettysburg, can you just real quick touch on those and with the time frames?
I would say the best free event is going to be the dedication itself, which is from 2 to 4 in front of the courthouse.
Great.
And we actually have a Civil War band coming there. And interestingly enough, they're going to be playing two pieces which have never been heard around here before that were made for Thaddeus Stevens. There is one called the Capitol March, which was composed in like the 1850s. And then there's another one that was composed in the 1920s by a person who worked with U.B. Blake. And it's, praising Thaddeus Stevens. And all I know is that I've discovered on the internet this sheet music, and I've given it to the band, and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll play this." And hopefully, I have another friend who's putting together CDs of the music, which hopefully will be available for people to pick up. They will be able to hear the band play it. I understand that they're marches. Okay.
Okay.
So it may not be that wonderful music.
We really can't dance to it.
At least it'll be difficult.
But you got the Civil War. You got the Civil War band. We're going to be selling T-shirts, coffee cups, keychains, commemorative newsletters, all with the pictures of the statue. So people can.
By the way, here is a picture that you handed me during the break of what the statue's going to look like. You know what I think this would look cool on?
What?
Boxer shorts. Right on the front.
Which band is coming?
Aerosmith.
Federal City?
It's actually. What's the phrase you're going to ask me that?
Not Federal City?
I think it's something like 46 Pennsylvania Regiment Band.
Oh, well, never mind.
Okay.
So real quick, if people want to attend that, you are encouraging them to bring their own chair.
Yeah, their own chairs.
For the
and then we have people from the community who will be speaking. We have the new mayor, Rita Freeling, will be speaking. We have Wes Heiser, who is the president of the Borough Council, who is a big fan of Thaddeus Stevens, will be speaking along with the chairman of the county commissioners. And we're also going to have Mark Charney, who paid for most of the statue. He is a former retired teacher and union official from Ohio who was an incredible fan of Thaddeus Stevens. In fact, named his dog at one time Thaddeus in honor of him. And he's going to be doing the honors of pulling off the sheet from the statue.
Okay.
For the unveiling.
Very nice.
That's one free event. They can also come to a seminar at Christ Evangelical Lutheran Church from 10 until 12, which is free, but we do ask people to register, and they can register by sending an email to info@ThaddeusStevensSociety.com. And we're going to be coming in by Zoom, the author of a new biography of Thaddeus Stevens, Bruce Levin, and also the author of a book called Congress at War by Fergus Brodovich, who writes about how Thaddeus Stevens was so influential in Congress during the Civil War. So they'll be coming in by Zoom, and that's a free event. And the really great free event is going to happen at 9 o'clock at night behind the Transit Center, where we're going to have a public showing of a new video about the statue and about Thaddeus Stevens, where we're going to be having experts on Thaddeus Stevens, including myself, and also interview with the sculptor and such like that. It's very professional video that will be shown on a big inflatable screen.
Inflatable screen?
Yeah, you aren't familiar with the inflatable screens?
No, I've never seen the inflatable screen.
Yeah, this is like a 9-foot by 16-foot inflatable screen.
That's interesting.
In fact, people going by the street, it will sort of be like a drive-in theater. People, probably, steer off the road. Say, "What's that over there?" Or something like that. People. But I was thinking about fireworks, but I said, people will look at the fireworks and they won't know it's about Thaddeus Stevens.
Right.
So at least this will.
They'll think it's for April Fool's Day, which is a big holiday for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, so good luck with everything. I'm going to try to come to something. Probably not Saturday, but who knows? Maybe.
I have to tell you that we also, and this is somewhat of a smaller thing, our celebration continues to Sunday, and we're having at Caledonia State Park, where Thaddeus Stevens Iron Mill was, we're having a presentation by William Darity, who, along with his wife, let me get this right, Kristen Mullen, co-wrote the book called From Here to Equality.
Yes.
Reparations for Black Americans in the 21st Century. And so, he, in his book, talks a lot about Thaddeus Stevens' proposals to confiscate property from the rich, the super rich Southerners, and to redistribute it to the freed blacks. And so he'll be talking about that, and also about, the whole reparations controversy that's going on now. So that's, he's coming up from Duke University. So that's
very nice. So this is This is a big deal. It's a big deal. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. And you did this all on your lonesome? With no help?
I have
pretty darn much.
No.
I mean,
pretty much.
There's a committee, but he's done all the heavy lifting.
No,
I mean,
actually,
literally.
they've helped out quite a bit, and they are going to help out a lot because I'm going to, if I have to do everything on those days, you probably will not hear from me anymore.
No, I understand. Well, thank you very much, Ross, for coming on and talking about everything. It's very interesting. Before we go, Kathy, you're sitting there behind Veronica. Would you like to say hello to the audience?
Hi, everybody.
Oh, there's Kath, ladies and gentlemen. There's Kath. She's waving. You've heard about her. You've heard about her for years. She's waving into the other wall when the camera's right there. But anyway, you've heard about her for years, and here she is. She finally spoke for you.
I brought her along so she would buy dinner tonight. So.
Oh, smart. And then somebody says here, Mike K said only the May 21st is a conflict with the Adams County Historical Society.
There's a lot
they're
of stuff
not
going
all
on
the third Saturday, so we can rest easy on that. Good. Okay.
There's a ton of stuff going on the 21st, unfortunately.
I know. Well, I changed it to the following.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, good. I didn't know that.
Well, because I emailed Gary and I was like, hey, what time is your tour starting on the 21st? He goes, well, it's all day, and then it's all day the 22nd. And I said, okay, so I have to reschedule because I can't compete with that, even for free.
And honestly, real quickly, Sue Boardman, it's already sold out, but the Gettysburg Foundation is doing a tour of monuments with Sue Boardman. That's the same day. Jen Murray and her, husband, Mike Worker, are doing a thing with Dean Schultz on Culp's Hill that's all day for a fundraiser for the college students. Oh my God. Randy Dreas is doing a thing about, I think, the movie Gettysburg. I think the production site's on the. There's just
that's cool.
A lot of stuff going on 21st for some reason.
So and so we're doing a Memorial Day weekend. I figured people will be here anyway.
Yeah.
Not necessarily our people, but maybe our people will have an excuse to come here now. And who wants to sit in traffic going to the beach?
Yeah.
No, nobody wants that. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, come down here and have some fun and learn a little bit. But that's really all I had to say there. Well, I'd like to thank Colby for everything here with the studio.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Eric, the producer, for teaching Colby how to use the computer there and everything, and showing him that. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you noticed, Eric was in the beginning of the show. He was up here with us and not behind the computer doing that and talking. We've promoted him to ensign. So there you go. Well, because you could have sat over there and talked and participated, but you wanted to sew. He's sewing a scarf. No, he's actually working on a Von Dedham & Co. original electric leather plastic thing. It's not plastic. But anyway, that's really all that we have there, ladies and gentlemen. More stuff to talk about, but we're going to save that for next week. I've got listener emails that we got over time and all this other stuff. And next week, hopefully, I won't be spending all day Friday getting the studio ready, so I'll have energy to actually host the show. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you all for listening.
Addressing Gettysburg Today is hosted by Matt Callery and Veronica Brestensky, Esquire. Produced by Eric, the producer, Moni. Applause led by Owen the Clabber. Guests of Addressing Gettysburg Today stay wherever they want. That's not our concern. To be a guest on the show, send an email to eric@addressinggettysburg.com. Addressing Gettysburg broadcasts from the Gettys Bike Tour Studios. Get a 15% discount on your next tour with Gettys Bike. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg Today. Thanks for listening.